and welcome to The People's Health, a show in which we reveal the secrets to harmony between mind, body and spirit. And today I will be talking to allegedly Dave, and we'll be discussing urine therapy and distilled water.
Yep.
Now this is very fascinating to me, as I watched a show not too long ago of a woman who was about 60 years old, and she had been doing urine therapy for quite a couple of decades actually, and she looked absolutely amazing. She didn't look her age at all, and this is when I first found it very interesting. So could you tell us how you got into it?
I'm wondering if that woman you saw was Sylvia Chandler.
I don't remember the name, but it possibly could have been.
Right, well, I found out about it because I went to a festival about 3 years ago, first festival I've ever been to, and there was a woman there doing a talk about alternative therapies. And I'd done a couple of therapies myself, oil pulling and hydrogen peroxide, so I knew that they worked. And the first two therapies she talked about were oil pulling and hydrogen peroxide. So I was on a good sort of footing to start with.
Yeah.
But we all knew that she was going to be talking about urine therapy. So me and 4 people went in with our arms folded, like, yeah, tell us about we, urine lady. But yeah, by the end of it, we came out thinking, we've got to try this. Now, and to this day, I think all 5 of us are still doing it. And that's, I basically started the very next day. And it only took a few days before, well, actually, it took the first time I drank it, I noticed something different.
Well, within yourself, in your body?
Yes.
The feeling in your body you felt?
Within a couple of minutes.
Wow.
It was, as soon as I drank my first cup, and I was very nervous and very squeamish and everything, but I drank it, and the first thing I felt was this rush of energy and this feeling of well-being, and that happened within the first 10 minutes or so.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it actually affects your mind as well in a positive kind of way.
Yeah.
See, after seeing that programme, I thought, wow, well, if I could be 60 and look that good, then I'm going to drink my own urine. So I tried it, and it...
Well, it worked.
It wasn't, well, I didn't continue doing it. It wasn't the easiest experience for me. But as I said before, kind of like alcohol, when you taste alcohol for the first time, you think, oh my God, is this the stuff that everyone's drinking? Like, do you all taste this kind of thing? And then afterwards you kind of get used to it and stuff, and then it becomes something that you enjoy taking. And so do you find that did you enjoy taking it from the first sip, or do you find that now you enjoy it more than you? I
didn't enjoy taking it for quite some time. First couple of weeks I didn't really like taking it. But you
felt the differences?
Well, I understood that it was non-harmful to my body. It can only do beneficial things to me. So when I was a kid, my mum would try and make me eat Brussels sprouts. Okay, I knew they were good for me, but I hated the taste of them. And she would say, you know, stop whining and eat your Brussels sprouts. So I had to say to myself, yeah, Dave, stop whining and drink your wee. You know, because I knew it was going to be good for me. And even though I didn't like the taste to start with, you know,
the results are there, isn't it?
Results are
I mean,
there.
if you can drink it and you can actually feel that you're feeling better, then there's no one can tell you anything different when you felt the results.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm 3 years ago, before I started it, I was massively overweight. I looked very old. I looked about 55 years old.
And you look pretty well and healthy.
I was tired, wheezy, lame, and I was on my way out.
And that has all changed since then?
My body has gone back to as it was when I was 28 years old.
Wow.
I'm back to a 32 waist from a 44. I am in the absolute best shape of my life.
I hope people are paying attention. This is like a good weight loss secret, girls and guys, you know.
Yeah, and there's spiritual aspects to it as well, because I'm not a very spiritual type person, you know, intrinsically, but I have noticed some very strange things that have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had downloads of information. I wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I've done this once. Woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning, started writing a history, an alternative history of mankind for the next 4 hours.
Wow.
You know, I don't know where it came from. I just typed it out.
That's amazing. And this came from like days, weeks after?
Oh, this was more than a year into it. And I think it was after the urine fast. I did a 30-day urine fast as well.
Oh, okay. So was this in the beginning? Did you stop eating and just stay on urine, or was it?
Well, after about a year on urine therapy, I heard an interview by a guy called Andrew Norton Webber, and he spoke about the 30-day urine fast. And I thought, oh, I know this stuff works, so let's give it a go. And I kind of imagined I was on a desert island, and I didn't have very much access to food and water. So I embarked on it.
Right. So is it something you do like every morning, or is it like how often would you?
Oh, urine therapy. Oh, every morning. So every morning I collect the first wee of the morning. That's the important one. Because as you sleep, all your organs are producing all the good stuff, and so it's going to be the most nutritionally dense for the morning.
So it's all the good stuff is deposited in your urine, and then.
Okay, I'll give you the sciencey bit.
Okay,
then.
yes,
okay.
please.
Your blood goes to your liver first, and your liver screens out all the waste, all the toxins, all the viruses and pathogens and all the nasty stuff. Yeah. And it just filters all that out, and you get rid of it. Yeah.
Okay.
The purified blood from your liver, goes to your kidneys, and your kidneys aren't about excreting waste. They're about keeping the blood in balance. So excess water, excess vitamins, excess minerals, enzymes, proteins. You know, everything that's good in your blood. And if you just happen to have too much of at that moment, the excess will go in your urine. Your urine is essentially your blood. If you get a blood sample, and they put it in a test tube and they stand it up, the red blood cells will sort of sink to the bottom, and you're left at the top with this yellowish liquid. Yeah. Guess what that is?
The white blood cells?
Well, no, that's your wee.
Oh, is it?
Blood plasma. The medical term for urine is plasma ultrafiltrate. Ultra-filtered blood plasma.
Wow.
So you can imagine if your blood is the life-giving force that goes around your body, you're literally weeing out your life force.
So I don't know if this is an appropriate question compared to what you just asked, but does that mean that you can get the same effects from drinking blood?
I imagine so, which
because that would explain a lot of stories that we hear going on in the world, right?
Some, that explains the stories about vampires and certain members of our society who apparently drink blood behind closed doors.
That definitely explains it. So you bought your meter thing in today. Could you tell us what that is?
Oh, sure. I mean, this was just about. We were talking about distilled water. Urine is distilled.
Distilled, yeah.
Yes, it's your body distilled. Your kidneys are the finest distiller ever, and this is what's known as a TDS meter. It measures total dissolved solids. So this is distilled water here. Okay, if I was to switch it on and put it in here. I don't know if you can read what that says.
Yeah, at the bottom.
Yeah.
19.1.
No, that's the temperature.
At the top.
Yeah.
It varies between 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Okay,
yeah. So
that's 1 and 2 or 2 parts per million of foreign matter, and that's probably because I just drunk from it a couple of times. Unfortunately, normally I get tap water, and but you gave me sort of filtered, and I've already tested that, and it's came out about 20. What does that say?
It says 28.
28.
Yeah.
Which is extremely good, actually. Tap water in Basildon, where I come from, was around about 400 parts per million. Yeah, and it's not a very good example now, but when I do talks, an experiment I do is I pour some distilled water in a bowl and some tap water in a bowl. Measure the distilled water, usually about 0, around about 1 or 2. Measure the tap water, around about 400, 500. Yeah, and just make sure a member of my audience is happy to drink the tap water. Okay, even after I show
after you've showed that.
And then I wash my hands in the distilled water, measure it again, and it usually comes up around about 70, 80.
So that's still lower
so
than...
that is cleaner
than the tap water?
By a factor about 4 to 5 times, and yet nobody will drink the water I just cleaned my hands in.
Yeah.
See, that's the trick of perception that we're under.
It's very true.
We think that tap water is clean.
I only started to realise how unpure our water was when I started making ulmus and I started carrying around a pH meter. And Evian water kind of surprised me as well as a lot of other bottled water. But I think this is another great idea for people to be able to measure what kind of water they're getting and what they're taking into their body.
Well, why it's important is that we've got used to this idea that minerals are good for us, okay? And normal tap water has, say, 500 parts per million of minerals. But there are 2 types of minerals. There are inorganic and organic minerals.
Okay.
We are made up of organic minerals, living minerals. The stuff in the water is inorganic mineral, which is dirt, rock. Okay. And when we take dirt and rock in tap water, bottled water, mineral water, those minerals our body can't deal with. So it deposits it around our bodies. So when it deposits itself in our joints, well, we call that arthritis.
Oh, yes.
Literally, our joints turn to stone. When it deposits itself in our arteries, that's heart disease and strokes. In our kidneys, it's kidney stones. In our gallbladder, it's gallstones. It's a whole number of things. And distilled water dissolves inorganic minerals and washes them out. So if you've got arthritis, you drink a lot of distilled water, typically about, it'll have to be a kind of gallon a day. Yeah. But you will start to see arthritis reverse itself, heart disease reverse itself, all these things.
So is there such thing as drinking too much water? Is that possible? Is that...
Too much crappy water, yes. Distilled water, no. And as I said, urine is distilled, and also it's got a whole bunch of other benefits that go along with it. Andrew Norton Webber talks about distilled water as the key. I'm the one who talks about urine's the key. Yeah. But I think we both got the...
It seems like there is a lot of scientific evidence to prove that this is, very, very well worth checking out. And you brought in a couple of books today, didn't you?
Sure. This is about urine therapy. This is one of the important ones, I think. Your Perfect Medicine by Martha Christie.
Your Own Perfect Medicine by Martha Christie.
Yep.
And what this one goes into?
Well, they all talk about the
science
science behind it, the case studies, the scientific papers that go back, over 100 years that talk about, how wonderful urine therapy is. It's just that the medical establishment will not talk about it.
Because we are effectively healing ourselves without their help.
Exactly, with something that's free and always available. I mean, you can't sell pharmaceuticals if people have got their own medicine that's always available.
That is literally made by their own body.
Exactly, and it's perfect for them because it contains everything they need at that moment.
And it's from them as well, so you can't get any better than that, can it?
It's all information about their body, scripted perfectly for them.
So this one says man's higher consciousness. Does this go into detail about how it affected you spiritually and mentally?
No, I brought that one along.
See that?
I brought that one along for a different reason, because once I did the 30-day urine fast, I realised that I didn't need to eat as much. Yeah. So I finished the fast, Went on a bit of a binge because I missed tasting stuff. And then, you know, I sort of settled back into my normal life and realised, well, I went 9 days, or 8 days, I think it was, without eating, without realising it. Somebody said, oh, come out to dinner, and I'm like, oh, I haven't had dinner for a while, or I haven't had lunch for a while, so it's 8 days, bloody hell, what's going on?
Oh my God.
So I noticed I just didn't need to eat, and I felt great. So as soon as I felt these things, I started to ask questions, and books started coming to me, and this was the book that changed things for me.
That's brilliant. So just in case anyone missed that, that's Man's Higher Consciousness by Hilton Hotema. Hotema.
Yeah. It's actually out of print.
Did you catch? Your Own Perfect Medicine by
Martha Christie.
Martha Christie.
Yeah. This one's more about talking about why man doesn't need to eat.
Oh, I see.
So that's when I asked that question, why is it that I don't seem to need to eat very much? This book came to me and it explained to me actually that we're all what's known as breatharian, and we don't need to eat, and eating and drinking is a habit that we've fallen into.
I would like to dedicate a whole show to that, and we've unfortunately run out of time right now.
Oh, okay.
But will you be back again to go into
Sure.
the science of breatharians?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That would be excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming. Welcome back from the break, and we were just talking about, well, we were talking about many things, but we had just finished touching on breatharians and how we haven't always been eaters. Could you talk more about that?
Well, this book goes into how we started off in the distant past as breatharians, where we didn't need to eat. We didn't have any material needs, and we were not completely physical. So we were kind of something
more
between
like light beings, photons,
light beings and physical beings. And then we fell into the habit of drinking water, and as we drank water and we started taking on material,
we got denser.
Our lifespan started to shrink somewhat, because
naturally,
apparently our lifespan should be in the region of tens of thousands of years. And then we started eating the fruit, which gives you another spin on the Adam and Eve story. So our bodies had to adapt to dealing with the food. So our lifespans shrunk again, and then vegetables shrunk some more, and we got more dense and more solid and more grounded. And then we became carnivores, and now we're stuck with you know, this 100-year lifespan if we're lucky.
So do you think that the people that have been doing urine therapy can actually extend their lives?
Yes, I mean, I feel like I'm living proof. As I said, I am. 3 years ago, I looked 55. I was going down the route of you know, that spiral down sort of unhealthiness and eventual death.
And this has completely changed your life.
This has completely changed my life. I'm in the best shape of my entire life, even better than I was when I was in my 20s. I no longer have asthma, which plagued me for all my life.
So that can be cured?
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, I'm the best I've ever been. My face has got younger. My body's younger. My hair started to grow back.
You feel great.
I get sort of, I get often taken for round about in my 30s. You know, best I've got so far is 32, which is good.
Oh really?
Yes.
Oh, see, I would if I got older and people were telling me that I looked a lot younger because of, well, not even just a lot younger, but just looking healthy and looking well and excuse me, and not giving into the aging process or the kind of well, when your body just decides that it hasn't got anything left anymore. Right. It's to keep it renewing itself, to keep it healthy, to keep it well.
Well, first of all, the thing to remember is that you're never more than 7 years old. Every one of your cells is you know, dying and being reborn, and literally every 7 years you're totally different to the way you were 7 years ago. So aging is fake. Aging is not what we think it is.
It's not what we think it is.
It's literally toxic accumulation and toxic thought. You know, this idea that we're going to look like a version of our parents.
Yeah.
And if you buy into that idea,
then your body naturally follows.
We know the placebo effect. That's the same thing. You know, when you believe something sort of to your core, then you're going to manifest it.
So the more physical things that we take into our body is the more it grounds us to third dimension. And the more we do things like drink our own urine or get into maybe lighter types of food, that is the more we connect to a lighter body?
Well, you know, from a sort of purely, you know, day-to-day physical point of view, if you start removing the toxins from our bodies, the signs of aging start to disappear. As I said, in the last couple of months, I've always had very defined laughter lines all the way down, and the permanent fixture. They were like deep gullies. And over the last 2 months, I noticed on this side, you know, the lines started to disappear and go down, and now it's pretty much gone on this side, and it was kind of semi-permanent on this side, and even this side's starting to fade. So I'm literally getting younger as the years go by now. So my aim, as well as doing the breatharian stuff, is to live for 200 years and look younger than I look now. And that is entirely possible. When you look in the back of this book, it details all the gravestones and all the accounts of people living more than 100, 120, 150, 200, 370 years.
Wow.
And, you know,
see, I heard about that, but I'd never actually read like documents of anyone that had lived that long. But you're saying it's all in here in this book.
Well, one famous case that I talk about is I can't pronounce his name. I can't remember it either. But it's a Chinaman who lived 250 years, and Chinese records were meticulous. So at 150, he got congratulations from the government for reaching 150. Wow. He also got it again at 200. So it's absolutely documented this guy lived to 250. There have been other people throughout the years who one guy claimed to have lived 700 years, but all they could document is the last sort of 250 odd.
Wow, that's truly amazing.
Yeah.
So, well, during the break, you said that there was something that you wanted to touch on.
Oh, I wanted to carry on about urine therapy, how one actually does it.
Yeah, could you talk about how people can, well, people that are at home that would like to try this today or tomorrow, how can they go about it?
Well, as I said, the first one of the morning is the most important one. And most people have that mental barrier they have to get over.
Yes, of course. Just close your eyes and back in.
Yeah, and as I said, you know, stop whining and drink your wee, you know. But, you know, if you find it's too difficult, you can either mix it with juice or even if you really can't do it, I mean, just take a few drops in juice and sort of build it up that way.
So could you do it like if you, when it comes to drinking urine, are you supposed to drink like an entire glass, or is it just like, you know, a little bit of it?
Whatever you can manage. You know, the more you drink, the better the results.
But it's just your morning one. You wouldn't recommend the other times of the day to drink it?
Well, no, the morning one's the important one because it's the most nutritionally dense, for want of a better phrase. So yeah, you take as much as you can of that. You also save some to actually wash in, because that's the other part of it.
So you add it to your bath? Well,
no, you pour a little in your hands and take a section and you massage it in until it absorbs.
Okay.
And it doesn't smell. You can actually smell me if you want.
It doesn't.
I mean, I do it every morning. I don't wash in water anymore.
Oh, okay. So it's literally only just the urine that you use to wash it.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And it's a natural detergent as well. So it's a natural everything basically to the body.
It has like everything you can do with it.
Yes.
Really.
It puts the elasticity back in the skin.
Right.
So I've
heard of people doing like urine masks before.
Well, it's literally just you pour it in your hand and you just massage it in until it absorbs. And it will absorb into the skin. It's not like water. Water will just, you push it around the surface, you've got to towel it off. Urine will absorb straight into the skin. And you've already done it because most moisturisers have urea or uric acid or something at its base.
So we're already putting other people's urine on us?
Other people's, it's usually cow or pig urine or something like that.
Well, I suppose when cow's not so bad, you know, we do drink cow milk at times.
Yeah, so. I don't understand why people do that, but...
That's an argument for another show.
It is, but obviously your own is going to be better for you. So you've also already done urine therapy, I mean drinking it without knowing it. When you were in your mother's womb, the amniotic fluid is urine, and it's responsible for your skin and for developing your lungs. So you're breathing it and drinking it all the time.
This is amazing because it seems like the more I learn about the human body, the more I learn how much we have like junk nothing. You know, they say you have junk DNA and then like your urine and stuff, like all that is waste. You know, there's like a use for everything. You know?
Absolutely.
And it's a new way of looking at things, isn't it?
Yes, and this Man's Higher Consciousness book basically explains how we have what the medical profession calls redundant organs, our tonsils, our appendix, you know, various organs around our body that the medical profession says, you don't need that, we'll whip that out.
Those, just remove them for you.
Yeah. This book basically explains how our redundant organs are basically our customization ability. So we are the most adaptable species on the planet. Actually, all animals are just as adaptable, but if we say started to eat grass, okay, our appendix would suddenly enlarge and start processing grass. But then if we stopped eating grass, our appendix would shrink back and become a redundant organ.
So our body kind of adjusts to evolution, does it?
Well, there's no such thing as evolution. We adapt. We adapt. We're adapting now. We adapt on a moment-to-moment basis. And if you stop eating, what's the first thing that happens to your stomach?
It starts rumbling and...
Maybe not the first thing, maybe the second thing. When you stop eating for any length of time, your stomach starts to shrink. And your digestive system starts to shrink. If you stop eating altogether, which you have to do kind of very slowly, you have to let the body adjust, but your stomach and digestive system become a redundant organ.
Wow, I think we're going to have to end there. Sorry. But this has been so enlightening to me. But in fact, you know, I think we can go on a little bit longer. After this break, please join us again and we'll just finish talking about what we were just discussing. I feel like I have learnt so much from this and there are so many more questions that come from this, and just learning about urine therapy and what it does for the body tells us, as you were saying, a lot about how the body works. So you can actually stop eating altogether and live off of urine and you will be fine. People have done this.
Well, I did the 30-day urine fast, where again I drank no water, I ate no food in that 30 days. And the results of that were, I don't know if I can show this, I mean my belt is proof of this. I don't know if you can see.
Yes, we can see.
Can you see all those lines?
Yeah. Can the camera see this as well? Well, take our word for
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
So literally in 30 days, I went most of the way in there.
30 days,
Yes.
wow.
I didn't lose any muscle mass, just excess fat. 4 days into the fast, my lungs came back. I've had asthma for 40 years, and 4 days into the fast, I was doing a walk. I got the urge to run, and if you saw me run, I could do 100 yards, and it would take me about half an hour to recover from it. But I ran for half a mile, and I got to the end. I was like, I can still breathe. What's going on?
That's amazing.
Yeah, nerve damage in my foot disappeared. I've got a Achilles tendon scar, which was causing me pain for 4 years. Gone after 4 days. I had a crunchy shoulder disappear. You know, when you sort of do that, it would make
So
a
it's
grinding
healing
sound.
in so many ways as
Yeah.
well.
Again, my hair started to grow back. You know, my face.
I've had friends that have asked me many times what would I suggest for weight loss, and a lot of the times people go on like these crash diets, and they go on, let's say, like a fast, and then when they go back to eating again, it's like their body's like, oh, you know, you starved me of all these things, and so they end up putting on more weight than they had before. But this sounds like something that's relatively safer for them to go down, because it seems like they are still getting all those minerals and vitamins that their body needs.
Well, what I find happens when you go on urine therapy is that it steers you away from foods that you shouldn't be eating. Obviously, it's a feedback loop. So, you know, if you eat something that your body doesn't like, you'll taste it straight away.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and it will move you, shift you away from the stuff that your body doesn't want.
So you can have better tasting urine as you go.
Yes, for 1 week
Different
I
flavours.
had urine that tasted of coconut water. Literally.
Coconut water?
Wow, and I was like, I couldn't wait for the next one. Literally for a whole week. I don't know what I did.
You don't know what you did that week.
I don't know what I did right, but for that week, it was coconut water. I hadn't been near a coconut for ages, but coconut water.
I wonder if it's the same processes that happened that week in your body that happens in coconut trees. That gives it that taste.
I have no idea, but...
Well, the coconut is white, right? And we did say white blood cells as plasma as urine. So.
Well, it's interesting because coconut milk is the only thing that you can use as a blood transfusion.
Yes, in your blood, yeah,
So
I had that
that's interesting. So maybe that probably needs some investigation.
Yeah,
but,
I'll definitely be investigating that.
But literally, I had a week of this gorgeous tasting coconut water, But you know, in my body, I cannot drink beer anymore. I don't drink beer anymore.
Okay.
You know, I can't eat beans. I can't have coffee or anything like that. So it steered me away from the bad stuff, and it moves you towards good stuff, because you start respecting your body a bit more. Especially now, you know, when you drink it, your body tells you, no, don't eat.
Yeah, this is good for me and this isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect actually. I mean, if you could actually taste what your body is feeling, then I think we'll be more drawn to dropping things. But unfortunately, we have run out of time. And could you just let people know where they can find you if they wanted to get more information from you? Do you have a website?
I don't have a website as such. I used to appear on a radio station as a whole load of my podcasts on awakeradio.co.uk.
Okay.
And my my YouTube channel is dmurphy25. So
dmurphy25 and
awakeradio.co.uk. And I can give you an email address if anyone wants to get in contact with me. It's dmurphy25@gmail.com.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. And I learnt a lot, and I'm sure everyone else did as well. And please join us again soon.